For this project, I'm going to show you how to make a cool 3D handgun out of styrofoam that you can use for props, cosplay, or even backyard metal casting. To get started, we'll first need to whip out the hot wire styro slicer we made in a previous video, and watch this. Simply unbuckle the latch on the side, and you can have the whole thing set up and ready to slice foam in under 10 seconds. And like most of my other styrofoam creations, this pistol all starts with dollar store foam board. I like these sheets of foam because they're all about the same thickness, and once the paper layers are peeled off the front and the back, they're really easy to work with. If you want to make the same gun I used in my styrofoam to aluminum video, then you'll just need to print off 2 copies of this template I made in Photoshop. I based this template around a design I found on YouTube for an M9 rubber band handgun by Rbguns, and I've put links in the description to where you can find them for free. Go ahead and cut out all the shapes and lay them on the table, and you should end up with 11 tracing templates, which are basically all just mirror images of each other. These pistol parts are designed to stack together to form a really cool looking 3D prop, but we need to carve the custom parts out of the foam first, so let's get to work making that happen next. Smear the surface of the paper templates with a glue stick and focus on getting good coverage around the edges so you can transfer the paper to the foam and stick them firmly in place. Alright, the time has come to power up the styro slicer, and the first thing I like to do is chop the board into smaller pieces to make the templates a bit more manageable to work with. From here, it's pretty easy to glide around the edges of the individual shapes and trace them out with an impressively professional finish. It always amazes me how the wire slices through the foam so easily, but not through the paper templates themselves, but that's exactly why this works. Now when you're preparing to cut around the trigger guard, it's not as difficult as it might seem. The styro slicer actually has a cool little feature that'll make it quick and easy for you. Just poke a decent sized hole in an area you don't need, then turn off the power and give the wire a couple seconds to cool down. You can simply unhook the spring from the eye bolt at the top, thread the wire through the hole in the trigger guard, and rehook the spring back onto the eye bolt. As easy as that, you've got the ability to make detailed inside cuts in some of the hardest to reach places. Alright, we've got all the components manufactured and we're just about ready to assemble the foam weapon. All that's left to do is remove the paper and glue it together. Slowly and carefully peel the templates off the foam the same way you did with the board in the beginning, and if you're careful enough, you'll be able to reuse them again. Now to assemble this foam firearm, simply lay the pieces out so you can better visualize how they're going to stack together, and just for planning purposes, each half of your handgun needs to look like this. If you're ready to commit to this design, then go ahead and apply a generous amount of glue to the backs of the foam components and carefully set the pieces in place. The slide assembly and the pistol grip go on last and should line up with some of the obvious features on the base, and the last little piece is just for decoration, so push it into the little gap in the middle. This completes one half of the gun, and we'll need to assemble the other side the same way, but make sure this other side is pointing the opposite direction. That's important. With the 2 sides complete, you should have twin half pistols that are mirror images of each other. So if you do, then let's make the 2 become 1. Smear a generous amount of glue on each of the bottoms, then slowly and carefully line up the 2 halves and gently press them together. Double check the edges match up on every side and give it a few minutes for the glue to start setting, and with that, your styrofoam sidearm is pretty much done. Now to polish it up a bit, try using a 220 grit sanding sponge to smooth out any imperfections. The foam is pretty soft, so by lightly sanding it, you can get your gun to clean up really nice. With the handgun sanded, the very last step is to add the small circle to the tip, completing the barrel. And that's it. You've just made yourself a really cool looking 3D foam pistol that you can use for props or cosplay. Of course, if you want to take it to the next level, you could always transform it into solid aluminum as well. If you adjust the cutting arm of your styro slicer to roughly match the base of the gun, you can easily make a custom foam riser that'll glue to the handle. This is the setup I used for burying my pistol nose down into a bucket of sand, and to turn it into solid metal, all you have to do is dump in a crucible full of hot liquid aluminum. The scorching molten metal vaporizes the foam instantly and somehow rushes in to fill all the spaces as it does. Of course, your styrofoam creation gets completely destroyed in the process, but you'll get a solid metal casting in return. By the way, if you want to make anything else out of foam, your imagination is the only limitation. I designed and built a whole squadron of 3D foam fighter jets that are actually puzzles you can take apart and put back together. So if you want to try making them next, look for these foam fighters in another project video. Well, now you know how to use dollar store foam board and your homemade styro slicer to make a realistic and 3-dimensional Saturday night special. Well, that's it for now. If you like this project, perhaps you like some of my others. Check them out at thekingofrandom.com. Hey guys, that's the end of this video, but it's not the end of the adventure. Click here to see the last project and click here to see the next. I've made over 100 project videos for you to check out, and I'm still making new videos every 5 days. So click here to subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's free, and if you update your YouTube notification settings, you can get an email every time I upload. In the meantime, here are a few other videos I recommend watching. They're all favorites for different reasons, and you'll learn something new in every project. Thank you for watching, sharing, and supporting my videos, and I'll see you in the next project video. I'll talk to you then.